He was brought in to beat Auburn, but nobody expected Nick Saban the week before to lose to Louisiana Monroe. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you on the Toyota College Football Preview. It's 6-5 Alabama at 7-4 Auburn, the famous Iron Bowl, one that Auburn has taken home the last 5 years. And with more, we bring in Spencer Tillman from Houston, as we do every single week. And Spence, Alabama fired Mike Shula for a couple of reasons. First, well, he lost 5 consecutive Iron Bowls, or excuse me, 4 consecutive. The school has lost 5 straight. He also went 6-7 last season, including the bowl loss, finishing the year 1-5. Nick Saban's squad has lost 3 in a row, including that one to Louisiana Monroe, our buddy Tim Brando's alma mater. What are the rumblings right now?
Well, it's very difficult, particularly in the wake of some of the comments that Nick made and comparing it to 9/11 and how those events can inspire people, and also Pearl Harbor, I think, was thrown in the mix as well. I think those are off-limit subjects. You don't even want to go there. But you don't want to make excuses for your ball club, because if you had read the label very closely, you would have found out that this was a team that played both Kentucky and Kansas to within 2 points a year ago. And so they can't be that much different. Again, I know sometimes you can graduate seniors, and so you're a totally different ball club. We certainly see that Kansas is much improved. But you got to know who you're playing, and you got to have your players emotionally ready. This is why they brought Nick Saban in, because there's a fine job in managing and motivating players. This team clearly had their head down coming in this contest and really took them for granted. They're looking ahead to Auburn, and it cost them.
Yeah, but Louisiana Monroe, Spence, the team you were talking about, is also the same team that lost to Alabama last year, 41-7. You talked about emotion. You talked about emotion, Spence. Since that emotional loss to LSU, this Alabama offense has just been putrid. Now they see an Auburn defense which gets after the quarterback, plays fundamentally sound. If you're Nick Saban and you're Alabama here, what do you do offensively? Major Applewhite, the offensive coordinator.
Well, first of all, I would come out running the ball. It may not be your strength necessarily. You may need more balance, but I'd come out and do anything that minimizes our risk to create turnovers, run the football. That's what I would do. Now, you say, well, why do you want to do that against one of the best run-stop units in America? Well, fundamentally, it's the least riskiest thing you can do from an offensive standpoint. I think that's the approach you've got to take, because Nick's in a pinch right now. Let me tell you, with Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator for Auburn, they can stop the run. They're very physical, and they can intimidate you. With the emotional downturn right now that Alabama's going through, they're vulnerable. Again, they've got one of the best coaches in America, but at the end of the day, those players almost showing signs of quitting on him, and that's not a good sign. Yeah,
he ripped into his players on Monday of this week, saying, you know, I'm questioning my team's character. I don't think they have it. If they don't want to be here, they shouldn't be here. John Parker Wilson, he was booed in the game against Louisiana Monroe. He'll hear the boos, of course, at Jordan-Hare Stadium. On the other side, though, you've got Brandon Cox, and his class has never lost to Alabama. What type of game does the quarterback for Auburn have to play for the Tigers to win their 6th consecutive?
Well, I can tell you this, he can't have what was for him a career high, 4 interceptions against Georgia. If he starts to do that, then you're going to give a team that has their dauber down right now an opportunity and a reason to believe that they can get a win, even in their emotional state right now. So that's the first thing you got to do, protect the football. So that goes for both quarterbacks, you know, John Parker Wilson or Brandon Cox. They've got to protect the football. Both teams are vulnerable right now, unique in that they're coming off losses, although certainly Alabama's is much, much more embarrassing than was the loss to Georgia. Georgia's one of the hottest teams in America. Protect the ball, both quarterbacks' responsibility.
Certainly the case, and you talked about both teams coming off losses. Auburn, though, has had a week to get ready for this game. They did not play last weekend, where Alabama, they got to turn it around real quickly and figure it all out. Spence, with all that being said and all the emotion heading into this game and everything that's on the line, and Alabama fans saying, come on, we got to win the Iron Bowl, this is why we brought in Nick Saban, do you think they have enough to go into Auburn and win?
Well, there's an old expression where I'm from in North Tulsa, and it's not correct English, so ignore it. But the bottom line is the point is made. Pressure will make a pipe bust. Okay, that's what we used to say. And so I think this Alabama team is under a tremendous amount of pressure. So you're going to see it burst there in this defensive environment that Auburn is able to create. Jordan-Hare at their place. I think this is going to be an embarrassing loss for Alabama. I think that Auburn wins it at least by a couple of touchdowns.
Tell you what, if Alabama loses with the way that the SEC is and all the teams that are bowl eligible, it's possible, not completely probable, but possible that the Crimson Tide will not be in a bowl game this postseason, because if they lose, they'll be just 6-6. We'll see how it all unfolds, and we'll talk about it on Saturday. We'll see you then, buddy.
All right, Jason, talk to you later.
Folks, the 2 kick it off at 8 p.m. Eastern. For more on the SEC battle or any other in the second to last week of the college football regular season, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For Spencer Tillman, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.